In today's Leeds news, largely Ramazani signing on, Clarke Disappointment, mystery winger on Leeds radar, Gnonto future, still no interest in Matondo, and Maynor Soloman links. Morning folks, Jer here, Thursday morning the 22nd of August with your Leeds United news, and it's got a bit busy. It's finally happened. Leeds look like they are set to make their fifth signing of the transfer window, and there are some other links to some other players floating about as well as a potential exit as well, or at least rumours and rumblings of a player who wants to move away from Leeds, and we'll get into all of that in a sec. We have the match day preview with Andrew Stats Dalton tonight at 7 p.m. That will be live, and actually live. And last night's pre-recorded live for the podcast is available on channel. It'll be linked at the end of the video. You can check that out if you want to. So let's crack on and get into this, and we'll start off. Let's get it out of the way. Let's start off with largely Ramazani, and finally Leeds have moved to step back into the transfer market after over 30 days since they brought in Jayden Bogle. We now know that largely Ramazani flew into Leeds United last night and ahead of a medical that had been booked for the player. That medical that was tweeted out by Fabrizio Romano last night about the deal as well. It should also be pointed out that Ramazani's name was first linked with Leeds United over a month ago from Graham Smith in the Yorkshire Evening Post's Inside Ellen Road podcast, when he said that Ramazani was a name on a list that he had been told about. So credit should go to Graham Smith for getting that one way ahead of anybody else. But Ramazani himself will join after some personally good seasons in Spain, although Almeria were relegated from La Liga last season into the Segunda Division. But he himself had a decent time there. Ramazani will also qualify as a homegrown player due to the time that he spent in Manchester United's academy. He was involved with the Anderlecht Academy before spending time at Charlton and Manchester United, then moving on to Almeria, and will now head to Leeds United. If Leeds want to include Ramazani in their matchday squad for the game against Sheffield Wednesday, they will need to have him registered by 12 noon today, Thursday, in order to play in that game. And for all intents and purposes, and you can see the photograph on screen there now of Ramazani actually doing his medical that I've linked out through one of his family members, that could have been done before 12 o'clock. The deal itself is said to be an €11.7 million deal, so about 9.9, but anything between 9.9 and 10.2 million pounds is what's being discussed. That includes add-ons that have been brought into the deal, and there is a 15% sell-on clause in the contract should Leeds sell Ramazani in the future. Ramazani was initially linked with a move to England in January 2023 when Everton looked like they had a deal done for the player, only for Almeria to dig in on their €40 million valuation of the player. That was his release clause at the time. Player didn't move as a result of that. Ramazani himself also only has 12 months left on his contract, so Leeds may have done a really good deal here if the player can live up to the potential that he is rumoured to have. So what can we expect from Ramazani coming in? Well, thanks to LUFC data, who put some numbers together, Ramazani averages 9.92 ball carries per 90 minutes, and that's the most of any player in La Liga last season. He registered 3 assists last year, and he is the second in total carries across the entire La Liga last season, averaging 14.35 metres in distance. With those carries, Ramazani is seen as a direct Cree Somerville replacement. So now we will hope and see a replacement come in for Jorginho Rutter, or a replacement come in for Glenn Kamara, and cover in that left back area, and Leeds should be all but done and ready for the start of September. And now a player that was linked pretty heavily with Leeds and looks like might not be happening now is Jack Clarke. It looks like all hopes of a Jack Clarke return to Ellen Road may be coming to an end. As of last night, Ipswich Town were said to be locked in negotiations with Sunderland around a deal for Clarke to move to the newly promoted Premier League side. A £15 million fee is said to have gone in and is being considered by Sunderland at present. All the talk around £20-25 million for the player. A £15 million bid might just be enough to get it done. Leeds are still labelled as having interest in the player, as are Burnley, but as this deal moves on, there's no bid gone in from Leeds' side, and as has been the case over the course of this window, Leeds appear to be moving for players that are not necessarily being linked with us. So we'll keep an eye on that one. What was interesting also yesterday evening was Sasha Tavolieri was tweeting about the Ramazani move, and he said some interesting things in that after tweeting that Ramazani's medical had been booked, Sasha Tavolieri got into a couple of Q&As, I suppose, with people on Twitter, and he responded in an interesting way when asked if the Ramazani deal to Leeds meant any interest in Manuel Benson was off the table. And Tavaleri said the following: "No, they want the signing of 2 wingers, one left and one right-footed. Benson is a plan B as they have another profile above him, but he's still very well rated." So that would suggest that Leeds have another winger on their radar, a right-footed winger, and it isn't Manuel Benson. That Benson is seen as the backup option should Leeds not be able to get the other deal done. At the end of this Twitter exchange, he also threw out an interesting piece around Willie Gnonto. Unprompted, at the bottom of the tweet, he just said, "Gnonto pushing to leave." Now, we've heard this at several times throughout the window, and we've heard it last year as well, and in January. The player himself doesn't appear to be making it difficult this time around. He's not going on strike, he's not refusing to play, he's doing things the right way, and he might get his move should Leeds get the players that they want in. But there's no point in having an unhappy player at the club, but that's not verified. And Gnonto, as Farke has said before, has yet to come to him and ask for a move, so we'll have to see what happens there. There were some suggestions about other players linked with Leeds as well from these tweets with Tavaleri and the responses to the questions he was being asked. And he was asked about, is one of the other options for Leeds United Roland Saleh from Freiburg? And he gave an interesting cryptic response to this as well. He said, "He's younger than Benson, and that's all I can tell you." We can read into that whatever we want, but maybe Saleh is the other player on Leeds' list, which would be another very good player to bring in this window should that end up being true. Moving on to a link that keeps popping up, and we said we'd just deal with it again and get rid of it because it keeps popping up, and while there's negative news and real news and fake news, we'll try and call out what's real and what's not. Reports in Scotland and from Football Insider claimed yesterday that Leeds were about to make a move for Rangers midfielder Rabbi Matondo. This is the second time in 2 weeks that Football Insider have claimed that Leeds are about to bid for the player, and they say in this time around that Leeds are ready to make a move. However, as was the case last week and has now been confirmed by Yorkshire Evening Post, these reports are said to not be true. Kyle Newbold of the Yorkshire Evening Post says speculation around the proposed move is not true, and what Newbold said on the entire piece is as follows: "The YEP understands any reports linking Matondo with a move to Elland Road are wide of the mark, with Farke's side not thought to be pursuing a move for the 23-year-old former Manchester City Academy prospect." So, for all intents and purposes, and for everything that's been said by those who know, Leeds are not interested in Rabbi Matondo at all. So those reports are not true. We can move on from them, hopefully, for the second week in a row. And moving on to a player that has been linked late today, and that is the possibility of Leeds making a move for a Spurs winger. And according to Sport 5 in Israel, they are claiming that Leeds are interested in signing Tottenham Hotspur's winger Manor Soloman. Soloman missed a chunk of last season with an injury, but the 25-year-old is now said to apparently be lined up for an exit away from the club, and a loan move is what is being favoured. Soloman has 4 goals and 2 assists in 24 games for Spurs last season and does fit the profile in terms of age rate, 25 years of age for Leeds United. The report states that Spurs have decided a loan option for the player is the best move to get him back up to form, and the player himself is said to favour a move within England and not moving abroad to the continent, where Spain has been an option that has been linked with the player. His injury issues are said to all be behind him, and he had a very, very good time at Fulham before Spurs bought him there, and he even scored against Leeds in the Cup as well. So if you get the form he had at Fulham back, you'd be seen as a very good signing for Leeds United. But as of right now, it's very much a rumour at the minute, but coming soon by all accounts. So that's going to be it for me today, folks. Thanks as always for supporting the channel and liking the videos. As I said, the match day preview tonight with Andrew Stotts-Dalton ahead of the Sheffield Wednesday game will be on. We will have countdown to kick off 45 minutes before tomorrow night's game as well, and nothing over the weekend. And you can check out yesterday's podcast, which is down below there, which happened obviously just before the Ramazani rumours and movement started yesterday. So you can check that out if you want to. I'll be back tonight with the live stream and tomorrow morning for more Leeds news. Talk to you then. Have a great day. See you. Bye.